Comrade Commander-in-Chief, the troops of the Joint Troops in the course of the special military operation continue to carry out tasks to liberate the Donetsk People's Republic, Zaporizhzhia and Kherson regions. In June, 29 settlements and 636 square kilometers of territory were liberated. The Kiev regime, in the absence of results on the ground, seeks to convince its Western sponsors to intercept our initiatives and significant advances on the battlefield. For this purpose, it conducts an information campaign, within which it demonstrates the alleged successes of the formation of the Ukrainian armed forces, and the territory liberated by the Russian troops is hidden under a neutral formulation. We have moved to the gray zone. At the same time, the offensive of the joint troops and military units of the joint troops is carried out in all directions. The highest pace of advance is achieved in the lines of responsibility of the northern and eastern troops. The northern troops, advancing in several directions at the same time, continues to expand the line of security at the border with the Russian Federation in the regions of Sumy and Kharkiv regions of Ukraine. The advance in the direction of Sumy and in the area of the settlement of the White Well in the Kharkiv region is successful. In June, 8 settlements were taken under Russian control. The Western troops are developing an offensive on the wide front in their line of responsibility in the Kharkiv region and the northern part of the Donetsk People's Republic. In the direction of Kupyansk, the enemy does not leave its intentions to return the lost positions in Kupyansk. For this purpose, it has additionally transferred 11 battalions to this region, including 2 brigades of the Marine Corps, which are making unsuccessful attempts to break into the city and push our units to the east bank of the Oskol River. At the same time, the Ukrainian units are bearing significant losses. Since May 10th, about 2,500 Ukrainian servicemen have been destroyed in this direction, including more than 550 servicemen of the Marine Corps and 772 units of weapons and equipment. The liquidation of the enemy's formations on the east bank of the Oskol River in the area south of Borovoy continues. 4 settlements have been transferred under our control there: Shikovka, Novy Mir, Chernishkina and Druzhilyubovka. Street fighting is underway near Lyman. The liberation of the city of Krasny Lyman, an important administrative center and a large railway junction, which has a key logistical and operational significance for further development of the offensive in this direction. The southern group of troops is carrying out offensive actions to liberate the Donetsk People's Republic. The troops of the group liberated the city of Konstantinovka, one of the main defense units of the enemy on the borders of the Slavyansk-Kramatorsk-Konstantinovsk fortified area. In addition, in June, moving towards Slavyansk-Kramatorsk, the troops of the Third Army have taken another 4 settlements under their control. Stubborn fighting continues along the line of responsibility of the group of troops in the center. The units and military units are developing the offensive in Seveny and Krasnoyarsk. The front line is moved 8.5 kilometers from the outskirts of the city. In June, Kutuzovka, Vasilivka and Novy Donbas have been liberated. The front units of the group of troops have entered Dobropol and Anovka. The fighting continues in Belitsk, Shevchenko, Sajivka and Krasnoyarsk. At the same time, part of the forces of the group of troops continue to create a security line in the Dnipropetrovsk region. Fighting is underway to seize Novopavlovka. The troops of the group of troops Vostok firmly hold the initiative and advance in the Zaporizhzhia and Dnipropetrovsk regions. On the right north flank of the line of responsibility of the group of troops, the units and military units of the 29th Army have intercepted attempts to infiltrate the units of the assault troops into the depths of our defense. The units of the group of troops are actively advancing in the southern part of the Dnipropetrovsk region, increasing the security line. In June, Bogodarovka, Novoskelovatoy and Alexandrovka have been liberated. Fighting is underway in the large settlement of Veliko-Mikhailovka. In the direction of the main blow, the troops of the group of troops Vostok are advancing on the wide front to the west in the eastern part of the Zaporizhzhia region. In June, about 115 square kilometers of the territory, including Komsomolskoye, Novosilovka, Lesnoy, Rovno and Kapani, were taken under Russian control. Fighting continues in the settlement of Lyubitskoye. The units of the group of troops Dnipropetrovsk are advancing in the Zaporizhzhia direction. The command of the armed forces of Ukraine, trying to stop our offensive, set the task to restore control over the lost territories in the area of the settlements of Primorsko and Stepnogorsk. For this purpose, the prepared and motivated units of the Special Operations Forces, the main intelligence directorate and the foreign mercenaries were involved. All enemy attacks have been repelled. The assault units of the Dnipropetrovsk group are increasing the pace of the offensive. The front groups are located 9 kilometers from the southern outskirts of the city of Zaporizhzhia. The positions of the armed forces of Ukraine in the city center are under fire. The fighting in Orakovo and Preobrazhensk continue. In addition, according to the General Staff's plan, massive and group strikes on the facilities of the military-industrial complex of Ukraine and the energy infrastructure providing their functioning continue. In June, 5 strikes were carried out, as a result of which 55 facilities on the territory of Ukraine were hit, including 34 enterprises of the military-industrial complex, which were involved in the production of Flamingo cruise missiles, large and medium-range unmanned aerial vehicles, as well as robotic complexes and electronic warfare devices. 10 airfields were also hit, based on which the strike aircraft of the enemy and 5 facilities of the Ukrainian fuel and energy complex were based. On the night of July 1st to 2nd, the Russian armed forces carried out another massive strike with high-precision long-range weapons and strike unmanned aerial vehicles on the facilities of the military-industrial complex in Kyiv. As a result, 5 shipping enterprises, aviation and radio-electronic industries of Ukraine, which carry out the production of long-range unmanned aerial vehicles, cruise missiles and their equipment, were hit. In addition, the logistics center, 4 facilities of the fuel and energy complex, as well as the infrastructure of 5 military airfields were hit. As a result of the strikes, the opportunities of the Ukrainian industry in the production of long-range weapons, including cruise missiles and ballistic missiles, have increased. As a result, the critical dependence of the Kiev regime on the supply of components, explosives and fuel from Western countries continues to grow. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, the Union and military units of the United Group of Troops will continue to carry out the task of liberating Donbas and Novorossiya in accordance with the approved plan. Thank you very much.